much for watching Shasta's Journey, and my name is Shasta Garcia. Sit back and be inspired. On this episode, I have Mario Ochoa, and he is the host of EDM, I'm talking too fast, EDM United Radio in Stockton, and he has an incredible story that he's going to be sharing of God's faithfulness in his life and how he became the man who he is today. So thank you so much for being on the show, Mario.
Thank you for having me on. It's a great pleasure. I mean, when you told me you wanted to be on the show, I was like, yeah, that's awesome, cool. Like, why not? Because it's kind of hard to speak about your life or tell them your journey of truth and to just somebody that you just met. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to do that. So especially when you're at a party or something and like, okay, guess what? Let me tell you about this guy, Jesus Christ. It's kind of like weird to them or something.
Yeah, absolutely. I know how it is. So it's definitely a lot better when you have a platform to do it on, and then that way you can just go ahead and send the link to people and be like, hey,
that's why I like being on Instagram, because it's like, you know what I mean? You have people that follow you, and you don't know. I mean, there's some people out there that are kind of like, they call them ghost followers, or whatever. But you don't know what you might say something, inspire them, and then they might be like, well, what is that? Or or where does that quote come from, or whatever. And it's like, oh, it's from the Bible. Let me check it out. You never know. You just never know. So.
I know. I went through a stage where a lot of people post things on Instagram just to get the likes and then like delete them when they don't get enough likes, right? Totally guilty of that. Not anymore. Trust me, I have done that.
At first to me it was like it was something that I didn't really think of it as powerful or whatever. It was just like, hey, let me take a picture. I'm in Santa Cruz with my girl. Let's take a picture. And then after you start seeing, especially after doing EDM United, and then hashtagging and seeing people like respond to it, and oh my gosh, you have so much followers, and oh my gosh, you guys are doing this is cool. So you know what I mean? Like you get to learn that to use it as a business tool instead of just for fun. And then not only that, business tool, but inspirational tool as well, because there's so many ways to get out to people. I mean, you can sit outside with a megaphone and, hey, everybody, but it's like, you're going to reach the people here. But I mean, if you go on Instagram, you might reach thousands of people, 2,000 people. You never know when a video is going to go viral, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you try being authentic on your social media accounts? I know that like recently I've been trying to ask myself like, why am I posting this? Because, well, it's easy to post things just to like give off this whole thing that your life is so perfect. Like the people who just post the good things in their life. There's also like other things that happen that not a lot of people document.
Yeah, I mean, I think it can be kind of like that. And it's like, and sometimes it's kind of like, if you're in your house and your house is a mess, you're not going to want to show everybody your house is a mess. Let's keep it on this side so that way nobody, you know what I mean? But I mean, to me, like there's things on my Instagram that are authentic, and there's things that I kind of hold, that hold back a little bit sometimes. But I think the more you are honest with people, the more they'll tend to like you, because they feel more connectivity. And I try to be funny as much as I can, because I feel
noticeable.
Like, yeah. So you want to be. To me, I like being funny, because you connect with people. People that are funny, and once they start talking serious, and they're like, oh wow, let me listen, because now it's different to me. And it's like, okay, if he can be funny, he can be serious. All right, cool. So I that's what I try to do on my Instagram. I mean, you can see. You see the videos that I post. They're pretty funny. And
well, you guys can see it too.
Not inappropriate videos.
No. It's at Mr.8Music. Look them up, and you can see all these funny videos that we're talking about, and also the authenticity that we're also displaying here on this episode. But when it comes to you, what exactly is EDM United Radio, for those who don't know, and how do you use it as a platform?
EDM United basically came from, EDM music, which is EDM music, but it's like electronic dance music. That's what it means. So as a kid, I always grew up listening to dance music. It was Beat Limiting Sound Zay. It was about freestyle, and then house music. And I started DJing when I was like 10 years old, 11 years old. So obviously, let's fast forward, into my late 20s, and going to Delta College. Met somebody named Aaron Galvez, which is the creator of EDM United. I'm not the creator. I'm a co-host. He makes it like it's my baby too, though. But it somewhat is. Obviously, we help build it up. But EDM United Radio is just basically 3 hours of dance music. It's just if a DJ, and it's like, it's not the stuff you hear on the radio. You hear Rihanna, you hear all these different pop music or whatever. You know, our show is more catered to underground music from artists that you don't always hear all the time. So that way, if you do tune in to KXVS 92.1, or you see us on EDM United Radio on live streaming, you're going to see us, you know, DJing, but bring DJs that are underground DJs from Northern California, from the Bay Area. And I mean, obviously, we want more. I mean, we could bring out, you know, somebody like Dead Mouse or something and bring them out and play at our station. But
Hey, you just never know.
You know, those are the big dreams, but that's what we want. And hopefully we get there. We're slowly getting there. We've had, you know, because of me being in the scene for so long, I have, you know, thrown parties and connected with different DJs that are old school DJs. And when we bring them on, like, you know, these DJs that are, you know, headline local Bay Area DJs, we get a lot of views because people are like, oh my gosh. Like we just had Forrest Green on, which she was on an independent film, Groove. And it's one of those like Sundance movies that got, you know, hot, and she was in that movie. So everybody's like, Forrest Green, Forrest Green. So, you know, we have her on. Of course, everybody wants to tune in and watch the show, and we get good amount of views. Of course, we would be able to push it out more if we had, you know, better equipment, better everything, you know. But it's like we're getting there. So
yeah, God willing, right? Well, how do you keep the attention on God through it all?
I think my thing is just trying to shine, like let it shine from yourself. Like it's just like trying to be as much as you can Christ-like. I mean, it's tough because it's like you're talking about dance music, and then you start, you know, it's got a bad rap when it comes to like raves and stuff like that. But it's kind of just being good with people and just, you know, being genuine, you know, and not just being like, I'm on the show, hey, KXVS 92.1, yeah, and then all of a sudden, you know, I go in the corner and I'm just sitting there comatose. No, it's like just being a good person to everybody there, you know what I mean? And a lot of times, you know, I do tell people, God bless you. You know, God bless you. And it's like, some people probably be like, why are you doing that? Because a lot of them are, you know, style like New Age people, like peace and love, and which, I mean, I was in that. I'm not gonna say I wasn't into that. I was in that when I was in my, you know, late teens and early 20s. I was very spiritual, and, you know, the energy around, and, you know, the cosmos, and if you put love out there, it'll come back to you, which it does. But it's not knowing true love. When you get to know Jesus, you get to know true love, and that's what's awesome about Jesus, is that He'll show you that, you know. So I mean, that's what I try to put out there. Definitely, EDM United Radio is something I do want to show people. Like, hey, dude, I'm Christian, you know, Christian, Catholic, you know, born Catholic, and I love God, and I want people to know that. You know, why not? Other people want to be loud about negative things, so why not be loud about positive things, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I know just from reading your story that it hasn't always been easy, and you haven't always been so devoted to Christ. So how did you get to the point that you're at now?
Well, I think that I always had God in my life, no matter what, but I didn't have the Trinity in my life, right? Father, Son, Holy Spirit. So I think it was just, it's been a journey of me wanting to look for, I've been searching for the truth since I was a kid. You know, I remember being a little kid and wanting to know, well, if God created the earth and the stars and everything, well, who created God? You know, and then I would just blank out because I was a little kid, like, you know, 5, 6 years old. And nobody was there to tell me that, you know, even though my parents they would go to church and everything, but it wasn't like, they weren't, you know, reading the Bible and then reading verses and it wasn't like that. It just wasn't like that. It was more of a traditional thing because their parents went, and then, you know what I mean? It's just, they lost that part almost like that. And then I had a grandma that was, I think she was Protestant, I believe so. So she, you know, she had things happen in her life, miracles, you know, where when she was young, because she grew up in the times of the Great Depression and all that, so she went through all that stuff. And there was a time where she did, you know, she drank water. She was so thirsty, she drank water from like a puddle or something like that.
Wow. And
she died. She would tell us, like, I died, I went up to heaven, and I was basically at the pearly gates, and they told me, hey, what are you doing here? It's not your time to be here. You're young, you have a whole life ahead of you. And it's like, think about that. And it's like, when I think about that now, it's like, dude, if she would have died, I would have never be here. I wouldn't be here right now. My mom wouldn't be here, right? You know what I mean? Like, all these people that aren't here because of her. So, I mean, she would always be praying and always be crying about Christ and, and God. And I'd just be like, why is she crying? Why? I don't get it. I never got that. But, let's go from, being, as I was born in San Jose. So being out there, I did have times where, the Jehovah's Witnesses would come to my door. And I'd be like, and I was always so nice, I would just be like, you know what, I'll let you guys in, let's talk. So they got me into, reading the Bible and stuff like that. And then I moved to Tracy, and that changed completely. I just, kind of cut contact with them. And then I got into reading a book that I shouldn't. I wish in a way, I feel like I wish I hadn't read anything, because it's like, like you think about Adam and Eve, they were just innocent, right? And then all of a sudden they ate of the tree of knowledge, and all of a sudden, knowledge is power, right? It's good and it's evil.
You got to be careful what you put in your eyes, in your mouth, in your ears.
Yes. So they knew good and bad, though. So it was like, oh my gosh. And that's what I did kind of when I was around 2003. I read a book. And I don't want to say which book it was, but it took me into somewhere kind of dark. It was depressing. I was depressed because I felt like my government was against me, religion was against me, and I was just like, I didn't believe in Jesus. I completely did not believe in Jesus. I believed in God. I believed there was a higher power, and it's something I know there's a lot of people out there that are that struggle with that. They believe in God, but they don't believe in Jesus because they hear things like, people debunking Jesus basically, but they don't go out there and try to give the case for Christ, like that, like that movie that just came out.
Love it.
Yeah, I love that movie too. And it's like, there's evidence. You think there's evidence on this side that there wasn't a Jesus, but there's so much evidence that there is a Jesus. You know what I mean? So it's like these people don't want to look at that side, And it's like, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? Like, go and research. If you research, you know what's scary? They're scared of is that they're going to become Christian. They're gonna, you know what I mean? They're gonna end up finding Jesus, and
it's a scary thing. It's a crazy ride, a crazy ride.
But I mean, that's the thing. I was constantly trying to look for truth. And God said, all right, you know what, son? I'm gonna give you the truth. And it's just like Jack Nicholson said, you can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth. And it was something. It was like it was a page turner. It was like wanting to know about ghosts, wanting to know about UFOs, wanting to know about aliens. And I got to know that, and it scared me. It took me to this world of like fear, where I just wanted to be next to my grandma because I just felt like she was close to God. So I was like, oh my gosh, she's my saint. I want to be next to her all the time. And that's where that, but then obviously, the way I got to get back to me, being in a relationship with Jesus basically is getting married, getting married, because my wife, before obviously when we got engaged, and it took a while. I mean, it was like 8 years when I got engaged. I mean, other women would be like, what, 8 years? Oh my goodness. How could she, but it's like, she's seen that light in me, that this guy's a good guy. He just needs a little bit of direction. I didn't know what my purpose was. I didn't know, and I'm still going in that path right now, trying to find my purpose. And it was awesome too, because to be able to ask her to marry me, it was little signs, and God always talked to me through like music and stuff. So like I went and got the engagement ring, got into my car, and I had Pandora on, and all of a sudden Prince comes on, dearly beloved, we are gathered here today, and it's like, I was like, whoa, are you serious? Like, this song just came on right now, and it's like little signs like that, and then of course, we got engaged, and I asked her to marry me in 2014 on Valentine's Day.
Aww.
And it's just like, oh my, and I always told her, you know what, I'm not gonna ask you to marry on a date like that, because that's so cliche, so like, oh, in the movies, but I ended up doing it because of that reason, because I told her that's the reason why I did it. And then after that, she was like, let's go look at this church. So we went to a church in St. Peter Paul Church in San Francisco, and I walked in there and I was like, what am I doing in here? Because I wasn't, at that time I I didn't go to church. I didn't do any of
And
that.
was she a believer herself?
She was, but I think it was more like of that feeling of inside of her, like, I want to get married in church. I've always wanted to get married in the church, you know. So once that happened, obviously I went into RCIA program in Tracy, St. Bernard's, and it was simple as just literally reading the Bible. It was learning about the Bible. That's all it was. That's all I needed. Because all of a sudden, hey, this guy Jesus Christ is talking about love. He's talking about, I care about you. I love you. You're my son. And then it was like, here we go. This is what I needed to hear, you know? And it's simple as that. And can somebody, I mean, if somebody came up to somebody like, dude, just read the Bible, they're not going to read the Bible. They're going to say, I don't want to. What do you mean that's going to change my life? But it will. I mean, and it does. And it's amazing to go from being completely just depressed and feeling like there's no way out, and for him to saying, you know what, put your burdens on me. Don't worry about that. And excuse me. And that's where I'm at right now. You know, I'm just putting my burdens on him, and he's taking me on this journey. You know, Shasta's journey.
Word of life, I tell you, thank you for totally using that. No, seriously, it's a journey. And what I love is that, Jesus says, pick up your cross and follow me. That's all we got to do. We just got to be willing and be ready.
Yeah, and then and one of the moments, too, that makes me kind of like where I'm going right now, I feel like I do want to be like a preacher, or I do want to. There was a time before me and my wife got married, and I had this conversation. I haven't really told anybody, but I was ready to become a priest. It was that fire inside of me, and I was crying with her, and I was like, I mean, I love Jesus so much that I just want to give my life to. I want to become a priest. But I mean, of course, to become a priest, you have to not have you don't have a wife when you're a priest, because you have, it's hard to balance a marriage and then having to give so much to people like the way priests do. So it's like, okay, so we were crying together. But I told no, I love my wife. I want to be with her. There's other ways. I mean, you can become a deacon or whatever, So I mean, I feel like I'm going that way, but also at the same time, sometimes I feel like there's something else. I don't know what it is yet exactly, but I'm going that way right now, and I'm on that journey, and it's like I'm excited. You know what I mean? Just excited for it.
Yeah, it's exciting. How do you stay so devoted to God when you don't know what's around the corner, and you don't know what rock you're going to be fumbling over next, or what pit stop you're going to be making next? How do you stay so focused and in God?
I think it's just always knowing that he's always there, no matter what. And that's the thing, like, everybody thinks that God is up there and we're down here, and just like going back to what I said when I was a little kid, who created God. And it's like, when you study, you start knowing that he's omnipresent. He's everywhere all at one time. He's right here with us right now. He's hanging out with us on the couch right now. He's kicking it here right now. And that's how I stay connected with him, because even when I feel like I'm distracted, or when I'm down, or when something doesn't go my way, because, there's always that feeling of like, it's okay, because life is not a blueprint. And if you read the Bible, you realize that, like, there's been so much people in the Bible that he's changed their lives and turned their lives around. Just like Job, he had everything and then he lost everything, but he still stayed devoted to him. And when he was yelling at him, he was saying, how could you do this stuff to me? And God was saying, were you there when I created the heavens and I created the oceans? And then you start sitting there, you're like, well, now you feel like a little speck of dust, because you're like, that's true. Like, you think that just because you didn't get that job, or you didn't, win that $1 million or whatever, that all of a sudden your life is over. When it's like, dude, like, just like you said earlier, it's like your heart is beating. You're here, and your purpose is here, And I honestly, I always feel like no matter what, I feel like our lives' purpose is to evangelize people.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
It doesn't matter, because it's like you can just evangelize maybe that one person. Maybe that was your plan.
Yep.
I completely agree. Some people stay home. There's stay-at-home moms that they feel like, dude, I don't have a purpose in life. I'm just at home taking care of my kids, and my husband's going to work. But it's like, dude, you don't know who those kids are going to be. They could be the next president of the United States for all you know. That's why you got to
True.
make sure to raise kids with discipline and just with love and unconditional love, and that's why I'm so blessed that I did have that unconditional love as a kid, But some people don't get that unconditional love. They don't get it. They didn't have that grandparent or they didn't have those parents that were there for them. But man, where do you get unconditional love from? From Jesus, from God. Like he will give you unconditional love, and you realize like, oh my gosh, you don't even realize that you're a prince or you're a princess. Like he's the king. He's the king of all kings. Like
Amen.
you're
Amen.
you're a princess. I'm a prince. What? I'm royalty,
We're
right?
child of God. Yes, we are masterpieces.
Even though we don't have the gold, we don't
least
have
not yet, right?
mounds of gold, but it doesn't matter. I come to sometimes realizations alone by myself at home, just sitting there like, we got gold already. We got Jesus. That's our gold. That's our gold at the end of the rainbow is Jesus. And people don't see that though.
That needs to be quoted.
Oh yeah. No, it does, because there's been so many minutes. Like, I can literally, like, I'll look at people out there and be like, dude, I can make you a millionaire. I've had things come to my life where I can be a millionaire right now if I wanted to. And I can show you guys. If you guys want to hit me up, look at my email, go on my Instagram, I can make you a millionaire. I can. Because it has fallen in my lap. But because God doesn't want that for me, though. He doesn't, maybe in the future, but God wants me somewhere. And the closer I am to Him, the closer I am to my purpose. And to tell people that, like, dude, don't go chasing the money. Don't go chasing the money. Go chase.
Or anything at this world, for that matter.
Yeah, right. Be in the world, don't be of the world, right? And that's the case. And He'll show you that. And then there's so much people out there. How much videos don't you see on Facebook? Like, oh man, check out all this money. You want to make this money? Hit me up on my Instagram.
Things,
but that's what I kind of just did that right now, right? But I'm just saying I can do that, and I can, and be legit, and I can say I can make you a millionaire if you really want to, right? It's just like Jerry Maguire said, help me help you, and you can definitely do that, but definitely it's just God will show you everything. He's the truth, the way, and the life. He said, I'm the truth, the way, and the life. And I was constantly looking for truth, and just trying to find out what UFOs were, what Bigfoot was. And it's like, dude, you found the truth through Jesus. You know what I mean? That's where you found truth. There you go. I finally found Him because He said, I am the truth, the way, and the life. And He will give you your life. He will show you the way. He will bring you the truth.
He'll make you a way, because He's a straight narrow path He wants us on, but
yes,
sometimes we go in different directions.
Yes.
But He does.
Straight and narrow, and then the gate, the other way, it's a big path to go the other way, obviously. You know what I'm talking
about? Yeah. But God is just so good. I'm excited to see how He's using you. And I really wanted to ask you, because this is really the heart and soul of Shasta's journey, is to really capture how God has continued to be faithful throughout individuals' pain and suffering that they've endured. And so would you give people a little bit of an idea of how you've seen God be faithful throughout your journey of life so far?
It could be as simple as a little miracle, as simple as, let's say, our wedding day. It was supposed to rain that day. It was raining everywhere. And we wake up that morning, and guess what? There's no rain. We got married in San Francisco, and there was no rain. It was like if there was a circle around San Francisco, and there was no rain.
Wow.
And that was something that I spoke about when I did my my speech, basically. And because of that speech is what kind of makes me want to become a preacher or something that, be able to speak to people that may not have God in their life, and they can, because even it's like sometimes, like, I don't want to be preaching to the choir, basically, right? Because I can stand in front of a bunch of Christian people and they'll say, yes, my brother, but how about those people that don't, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
God doesn't call us to go into the light. He wants us to be the light in the darkness.
Exactly.
The whole point and way to do that is if you go and preach to the people who need to know the love of Jesus.
I've been in the middle of the woods, at a rave, talking about Jesus to some raver, and he's just like, and I'm talking to him about
your mission is wherever God places you. Let me tell you.
Yeah, so I've done that, but yeah, definitely just that, and then be able to talk at my wedding about stuff and about that, like, you have that storm. There's a storm in your life right now, and we all have those storms in our life. And just like Jesus, he was calm as could be in the storm, right? He woke up and he's like, what are you guys yelling about? Well, didn't you see the storm? And he's just like, oh, hold on. All right, it's gone. And they're like, what? And that's when they did find out. They're like, man, is this really God? And even the people that are around him, like sometimes they didn't believe. They didn't want, I don't know, I guess because they felt like it was like I was saying, sometimes people think it's a fairy tale. They think it's a fairy tale that a man could die, be crucified and come back in the third day and be risen again. And it's like, and people say, oh, well, Prometheus was born to a Virgin Mary, a Virgin Mother, and and it's like, but those things take, like the craze of Christ, like it takes hundreds of years for people to understand that. There was people dying for him right away, right? All of them, almost all his apostles died, right? Except for one, but because they knew. They were hanging out with Jesus after he came back. I mean, do you have a friend that or somebody that that came back out of nowhere like that? No, we don't. We've never seen that. So it's hard to believe when you read it, but there's people dying because of that, and there's people still dying because of that right now, right? Over in the Middle East, it's a lot of stuff going on right now. So, and we don't see that here in the States, right?
No, it's heartbreaking and beautiful at the same time.
Yeah.
That people are willing, and that's what we need. God can use you wherever you are, right here, right now. He can use you.
And that's the thing. It's like to be able to connect the dots and to be able to just sit there and just be calm as can be and know that I'm calm right now because of God. And there's so many things, so many distractions, so many things in our minds going a mile a minute. I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. Oh my gosh, how am I going to do it? How am I going to do it? And then you've already given up before you even started.
God only gave us 24 hours in a day for a reason. I have to remind myself of that. Okay, Shasta, you got 24 hours. You better make this count.
Right. And it's true. It's true. Yeah. And you can only do so much, obviously, in a day. And there's times where I'm at work 8 hours a day, and I'm like, man, I'm sitting here, I'm on this computer all day. I go home, I just want, when I go home, I just want to sit there and just take a nap and have my little chihuahua with me, and have my chihuahua and have my wife right here, and just
that's the life. That's the life.
Yeah,
Jesus in the center of it all. And, I just want to thank you so much for being on Shasta's journey and being a part of my Path to Purpose, and also just being willing to share your story and being vulnerable to the viewers. I thank you for that.
Yeah, and it's like, if you guys want to know more, I mean, if people out there, they want to know more, I can definitely tell them more.
Yep.
Just hit me up.
Absolutely.
Tune into EDM United Radio if you guys want.
No, absolutely. Listen up. Go check him out at all social media accounts at Mr.8 or Mr.8 Music, or email him and check him out on the radio. You'll be taught, healed, or inspired. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I want to thank 31 Mugs for providing mugs for Shasta's Journey, and also to Lauren Beauty for doing the makeup for Shasta's Journey. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. Share your story at shastasjourney.com or facebook.com/Shasta's Journey, and I hope you guys are abundantly blessed.